The Lemat Revolver was a .42 or .36 caliber cap and ball black powder revolver invented by Jean Alexandre Lemat of New Orleans, which featured an unusual secondary 20-gauge smoothbore barrel capable of firing buckshot. It saw service with the armed forces of the Confederate States of America during the American Civil War of 1861-65 and the Army of the Government of National Defense during the Franco-Prussian War. This unique sidearm was also known as the grape-shot revolver. It was developed in New Orleans in 1856 by Jean Alexandre Lemat, whose manufacturing effort was backed by P.G.T. Beauregard, who became a general in the Confederate States Army. Fewer than 100 were made by John Crider of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in 1859, including the first 25 prototypes. It is estimated that 2,900 were produced in Liège, Belgium and Paris, France. The European-made pistols were shipped through Birmingham, England, where they were proof-marked. Approximately 900 revolvers were shipped to the Confederate States Army and 600 to the Confederate States Navy through Bermuda to avoid the Southern naval blockade. The distinguishing characteristic of Lemat's revolver is that its 9-shot cylinder revolves around a separate central barrel of larger caliber than the chambers in the cylinder proper. The central barrel is smoothbore and can function as a short-barreled shotgun, hence the name grape-shot revolver, with the shooter selecting whether to fire from the cylinder or the smoothbore barrel by flipping a lever on the end of the hammer. Flipping the lever up caused the movable striker to fall upon the primer set directly under the hammer, discharging the lower barrel, while leaving it in the standard position would fire the chambers in the cylinder, much like any other revolver. Lemat hoped to market his adaptable revolver as a primary sidearm for dragoons and other mounted troops. He entered into a partnership with P.G.T. Beauregard, who at that time was a major in the U.S. Army in April 1859 to market his handgun to the U.S. Army. Beauregard, besides being Lemat's cousin, was one of the first U.S. Army officers to resign and join the Confederacy. When war broke out, Lemat received Confederate contracts for the production of 5,000 revolvers, and plans were laid to manufacture the gun abroad and then import them into the Confederacy, which lacked the necessary facilities to produce the weapon locally. Confederate gun runners were able to slip shipments of the gun through the Union naval blockade, and it is estimated that about 2,500 made it into Confederate service. In addition to General Beauregard and Colonel Lemat, Lemat's revolver was used by such famous Confederate officers as Major Generals Braxton Bragg, J. E. B. Stuart, Richard H. Anderson, and Captain Henry Wirz. Confederate Major General J. E. B. Stuart was known to favor the Lemat revolver. General Beauregard's personal engraved Lemat, which he carried throughout the war, is preserved at the Museum of the Confederacy in Richmond, Virginia. The Lemat revolver was manufactured from 1856 to 1865, with approximately 2,900 being produced. Here are some examples of its uses in popular culture. Jane Cobb, a character from the television series Firefly and the movie Serenity, uses a handgun based on the Lemat revolver which he named Boo. Inman, a main character in the novel Cold Mountain by Charles Frazier, carries and uses a Lemat multiple times in the novel. In the HBO sci-fi/western television series Westworld, the Man in Black, played by Ed Harris, carries a custom cartridge-firing version of Lemat. The Lemat appears in the 2010 video game Red Dead Redemption, although with a slightly altered appearance and the inability to fire shotgun shells. On March 20, 2019, it was teased to return in Red Dead Online, the multiplayer add-on to 2018's Red Dead Redemption 2, and officially released on May 18, 2019, it was also added to Red Dead Redemption 2 in a separate update. In Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2, it can switch between revolver rounds and shotgun shells. In the 2015 film, Forsaken, Kiefer Sutherland's character uses a Lemat revolver in the final showdown. In the 2014 first-person shooter Call of Duty: Advanced Warfare, the Lemat is available in multiplayer as the M1 Irons as of an update, albeit without the ability to fire shotgun shells.